It can be really difficult in the postnatal period to know how to get back into exercise. We always try to run before we can walk. A classic example of this is mothers heading back to fitness at home or in the gym and trying to do a full plank in those early postnatal stages. This can just create unnecessary and unwanted pressure in this precious healing phase. For example, if you've had diastasis recti, the tummy gap, this could cause your abdominals to open up even further, causing more harm. It can also place unnecessary pressure onto your vaginal and pelvic region, which is not something we want. And most mothers who run and go headstrong into fitness and don't do it in the right ways can often find themselves regressing for weeks on end and having to stop their fitness journey altogether. So this is not something we want you to do. So what I want you to do is just check out my quick plank progressions of how to get back into the plank safely and effectively in the postnatal period. So the first way to step back into your plank post-birth is to do it up against the wall. Now this may seem a little bit boring, I get you, but we want to go slow. Healing takes time. The reason we're doing it against the wall is so that you can work on your body awareness and your connection. So that's the connection between your breath, your pelvic floor, and your transverse abdominis. So let's get up against the wall. Both hands flat against the wall, palms against the wall, shoulders not up here, they're back and down. You're going to inhale, belly comes out. Exhale, switch on the TA muscle, lift up the pelvic floor just a little bit and pull those legs away from the wall. You're going to hold this position here. And as you're holding this position, look down at your abdominal region to make sure there's no protruding or doming off the abs. Now you can play around with your connection. Inhale, release the pelvic floor. Belly comes out. Exhale. Lift up the pelvic floor about 30%. Switch on your transverse abdominis, so hip to hip. Pull the ribs down towards your hips. Feel the muscles working. Inhale, release. Exhale, switch on. Have a look down, check there's no protruding. So step number 2, you're bringing those hands a little closer to the floor. So you can either use a banister, so inhale, prepare, T-zone, exhale, come out into that plank position, always checking down to see if there's any bulging or protruding of the abs. You can lower that even further by coming down onto a chair like so. If that's too hard, bring your knees down and regress it. Progression 3 is I want us to come down onto the mat. You're on your elbows here and your hands are together, palms are together. All you're going to do is you're going to inhale, the belly comes out, activate that T-zone, exhale, lift your bum and your hips slightly off the mat, holding into that plank position, bringing your belly button up towards your spine, your pelvic floor and T-zone is nice and tight. Again, checking down to see that nothing is protruding. And release. Inhale, belly out. Exhale, squeeze and lift. Now here you really want to make sure that your T-zone is nice and switched on, because that's the activation that you really want to practice in this position. And release. Step 4, you're going to do a high plank on your knees. You can start from a nice kneeling position. You can bring those hands forward, placing the palms onto the mat. Bring the hips forward. Inhale, T-zone, exhale. Bring those shoulders back and down. Make sure you're... Step 5, we're going to play around with your knees on this one. So curl your toes under. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, reach forward, so going into that previous plank position. And here, you're just going to bring one leg off and down. Making sure you keep on checking in with those abdominals and making sure you feel comfortable. Now, if you want to make things really spicy, then you're going to come up and down into a full plank. If you need to reset those abdominal muscles, go ahead and do that.
But make sure your hips are nice and low, your shoulders are back and down, your ribs are pulling towards your hips. And release. And in this step, in step 5, you can also go down onto your forearms. It's just a different variation off the plank. Curl your toes under. Inhale, T-zone, exhale, abdominals are switched on, hips are nice and low, and I'm in that full plank position. Looking down, checking to see that nothing's happening. Looking down, checking to see that I've got no bulging. And release. So there you have it, guys. You've got 5 steps with various progressions in between. There is really no need to push yourself in the postnatal phase. You will get there. It's a little bit of a journey, but trust me, it's worth it. I did all of those steps in my healing process. And even some days when I'm having a little bit of a wobble, I will regress the exercise and do the plank on my knees. That's okay. So I hope you enjoyed those progressions. If you like this video, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and send me your problems in the comment box below, and I can shoot some great content your way.